ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. This is The Sports Cave. Your co-host, Robbie, my co-host, Zach Run, who has a functioning microphone, if I'm not mistaken, sir.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
Yes, we do.
Episode, the second episode of 2025. Had to think there for a quick second. It's our second episode of 2025. The first one was a fucking kick-ass piss missile of an episode. We hope to exceed that today.
And you're damn right will, Robbie. And I have a question for you right now. I'm trying something new because I always put up a story on Instagram to try to get people to come in here. And, I don't think it ever works. So I'm trying out the Twitter or the X platform here. Car Lover, welcome. Bob, welcome. Ryan, welcome. What?
LiAngelo Ball.
Hashtag LiAngelo Ball.
Did you see that his fucking solo that he has is like going fucking viral?
Yeah,
like,
but I feel like, doesn't he have like a fucking G3 Jello, I think is his name, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I just did G3 Jello. And then what other fucking hashtags would you folks throw in here? I got NFL, NHL, World Juniors, USA, NBA, comedy, sports podcast, MLB. Because I put USA and I know Canada sucked, but I put Canada in there as well.
Yeah, we'll get
G3 Jello. I can't think of anything else to throw on there.
How about Justin Trudeau?
Well, it's a sports podcast. We're not going to talk about that cuck fucking queer loser who resigned as our prime minister.
Let's give Canada a round of applause, Zachary.
Yes. Okay, Bob, I like that. And then, Bob, what was it? What's this new indoor league called here? The TGL?
That kicks off tonight, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does. So I think I'm going to have to throw that in for a little.
What I saw, I think it's a pretty good 3-versus-3 there.
I think it's the TGL. The TGL.
I'll tell you right now. Let me just TGL really quick on. There it is, TGL.
That's what it is?
That's what it is, TGL, baby.
Okay, I'm going to do hashtag TGL, and then I think we're just going to fucking.
Singles matchups. Singles matchups.
It's been posted, baby. So let's see if that works, Robbie. Let's see if we get some random people from Twitter to come in and join. But, folks, the playoff matches are set. A few teams now looking for a new head coach as we had some firings. Basically, we're going to be doing what we normally do here, folks. And we are going to be talking about football to start off this podcast.
Zachary, before we hit the button to get us sued, the first 9 holes, it's triples. Ricky Fowler, Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele versus Shane Lowry, Wyndham Clark, and Ludwig Aberg. I think I said his name correctly.
Ludwig Aberg.
Yep. And then, I don't know what's going to happen through 16, 17, 18. Maybe it's back to 3, but holes 10 and 13 will feature Ricky Fowler, Shane Lowry. Holes 11 through 14 are going to feature Matt Fitzpatrick and Wyndham Clark. And 12-5 is Schauffele and Aberg.
Saucy, bitch. Saucy.
Yeah, unless it is 15 holes. I don't know. Now, the only problem is I won't be watching a second because it's on 9 o'clock. And 3:30 is an early wake-up call every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I got my my girl's going to the gym nearby my house, so she wanted to pop in, so I said pop in for about 8:30, but I said I'm kicking you out at about 9 o'clock because I need some sleep.
You're not going to let her stay over for the night?
Yeah, and then what? She has to wake up with me at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
No, she does not want to do that. She has to wake up at like 9 a.m. for her job, and she has all of her work stuff at home, so she's not going to leave at my house at 5 a.m. in the morning to go back home to sleep at her house till whatever time. It doesn't make much sense. But Robbie?
Time to get sued?
I think it's time we get sued. Sue these butt cheeks, bitch. Yes, sir.
Well, it's not a beer in my hand, Zachary. As
Marcuzio.
We're still going strong. Welcome, Marciano. Wilson.
Happy New Year, Marky. I know we've already kind of had the New Year's episode. Happy New Year's, everyone, again. Robert.
Yeah, there's so much to go over here.
I mean, Christ.
We got to go over the fucking what they call the NFL Black Monday. We got to go through the future playoff bracket. Zachary, I'll leave it up to you. Where do you want to start first? Do you want to go through?
Let's go through some of these games, Rob, because obviously, definitely a few that we can fucking zoom on right by because I mean, no playoff implications necessary for some reason, Robert. Here it is. Okay, my shit was acting all funkadelic here. But Robert, why don't we kick it off with the Saturday slate of games, which, I mean, I think the Browns-Ravens game went just about as good as I could have went for the Browns with a.
And hey, you guys almost covered the spread there, but Zappy with the interception to the 360 lineman.
And then also, Robbie, for the final 4 weeks of the NFL season, the Cleveland Browns, with a combination of Bailey Zappi and DTR, were able to muster up 26 points in the final 4 weeks offensively. 26 points, 10 of which just came in at last week. So 16 points from DTR in 3 games. That ain't going to get the job done, Robert. I think we can all agree on that. Lamar Jackson probably played himself into another MVP season here. I mean, his numbers, they just do not lie. Joe Burrow, in our Sportscape opinion, is the true MVP, but with them missing out in the playoffs, and we're gonna have to get into this too, Robbie. But okay, what did you watch the Browns-Ravens game there, Robert? Do you have anything you want to say about that one?
Some of it, not all of it.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. Just an absolute butt fucking. Which leads us into the next matchup here. It was a full divisional day here for the Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals. Bengals needing a win. Steelers sliding going into the playoffs. Also some implications for who would win that division with the Ravens getting the win against the Browns. They're looking pretty good. The Bengals take down the Steelers in a pretty tight matchup here, Robert. Yeah. 19 for the Bengals, 17 for the Steelers. They now do everything they can do to make the playoffs. Unfortunately for them, we'll get into the game after, but the Broncos just put a beat down on the Chiefs. But Robbie, it's kind of funny if you look back on it here, because we'll also allude to your team later on. That week 1 not only fucked the Bengals, but it also fucked the Patriots too. The week 1 victory of the Patriots over the Bengals not only basically was the deciding factor, not at the time, but if you flip that around, the Bengals are in the playoffs and the Patriots have the number 1 overall pick. And the Bengals, what was a terrible start to the season, was such a strong finish, but they will be for nothing, as they will be the last team to miss the playoffs here, or the first team to miss the playoffs, I guess, whichever way you're looking at it.
Last team. They're the last team to miss out on the playoffs. I think your Browns were ahead. I think your Browns were ahead of the Patriots of elimination from the playoffs, right?
Probably.
I think number 1 was Tennessee or Jacksonville.
Are you talking like number 1 right now?
The first team that was eliminated.
Oh, eliminated.
Yeah, from playoff.
Oh, yeah, that I cannot remember, to be honest.
Yeah, eliminated. How you doing?
Meditate. What's going on?
Yeah, I really didn't get to watch too much of the game, Zach. I think I heard it on the New York radio show I listened to every morning, DiPietro Rothenberg. I mean, it was clear the Browns were tanking. Jameis Winston was the better option than all 2 of them, and it was just clear that they were in for the tank. And now with the second
overall pick, we're going into with here. So I really don't know.
What do you do?
I have no idea, dude. I don't know what avenue they want to go with here. Obviously, if they wanted to go quarterback, they could get one of the 2 top end. I'm assuming the 2 top quarterbacks here are Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward, and I think they're I think they're above the rest of this class. But it's also like, is that? I mean, for a second overall pick, like, are we getting our fucking quarterback of the future out of those 2? Like, it's.
Well, then there's the kid out of Penn State that they're saying has a good chance of entering the draft, and his stock will rise as well.
Drew Allar?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that guy play football. He is terrible. I do not want Drew Allar whatsoever. To be honest with you, Robbie, I'm really not too sure which direction they go with here. I think there's an edge guy who's supposed to be ranked up pretty high there, and maybe Myles Garrett's number or time is coming to an end here with the Browns. So maybe that could be his replacement because you can't put
sweet talk him at the end of the game.
you can't put Garrett. Yeah, I saw that. These fucking cocksuckers. But you can't put Garrett to another rebuild. I mean, that man needs to go out there and compete on a championship team and attempt to win a Super Bowl. So,
yeah.
I to be honest with you, Robbie, I want to do some more research on this. So I say maybe not even the next coming episodes, but obviously coming up to the draft, I want to have a legitimate draft plan in stock for this Brown team to see which route I'd like for them to go. And they probably won't do anything that I say because
let's think about your team. So the quarterback position is obviously very, very, very questionable. We don't know what with Deshaun Watson, what. Your running back situation, not going to use your first round pick for Genty out of Boise State.
Not in a second overall.
Your receivers, I mean, Jerry Jeudy had over 1,000 receiving yards. Cedric Tillman has promised. David Njoku does pretty well as a tight end. The offensive line is always hurt. Even your best one, Jack Conklin, is always hurt. Defensively, you got Myles Garrett, you got Denzel Ward. Then what?
Yeah. Oh. Oops, he's hit my echo. Sorry, Robbie. I was looking up a mock draft here, and I'm already.
I mean, it is possible, maybe. I mean, you guys hope.
Yeah, this one here is saying that we're going to take Travis fucking Hunter at the second overall pick. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't
think
think
that'll happen. Okay, let's go to ESPN. What do you think is a better mock draft here, PFF or ESPN? Neither?
Neither. Because I don't know what I mean. ESPN ain't ESPN anymore.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, we're not going to go through all this shit right now, but
way too early. We're going to go through all this shit after the Super Bowl.
Yes. Once the league the year is done, we will go through all that. But I guess we can just go through the now update. Or do you want to? Let's go through the scores, Robbie. Then we'll do the updated, maybe top 10 list because I'm sure that you're going to want to have a few things to say about your Patriots here. Mm-hmm. Starting off with Sunday games here, Robert, playing spoiler, even though it didn't end up mattering because the Buccaneers didn't end up winning their game, but the Carolina Panthers ending their season off in exciting fashion. Bryce Young, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The Falcons beat the Panthers beat the Falcons in overtime, 44-38, Robbie. Hell of a way for them to end their season off.
And you and I called it. We called that Bryce Young and the Panthers are going to take down the Falcons. There was some that we felt there. I mean, let's see what the Panthers do in the offseason because I guess I got an early hot take here. I'm telling you right now, depending on what they do in the offseason, if they could fix up that defense and get one more receiver, because Deontay Johnson, we don't know. I mean, he had one good game when Bryce Young came back. He had one good game with Andy Dalton. Because Adam Thielen always deals with a hamstring injury every year. If they can get, unless Leggett, whatever his name is, and fix his Butterfingers, this is a pretty decent team. I mean, Chuba Hubbard runs the ball good. Bryce Young really showed why he was the number 1 overall pick over C.J. Stroud. I'd argue that Bryce Young might have looked better than C.J. Stroud this year. The defense has a lot of question marks. It's a very open division because the Falcons, they're going to move on from Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
We don't know what Penix is going to look like. Tampa will be Tampa, but Tampa is good enough as advertised, whether they have Godwin or not. I mean, honestly, that is their most significant injury is Chris Godwin. That's it. The Saints are trying to pretend like they could still contend for the division, but they need to go into a full rebuild.
So if you're a team like the Panthers, they sit now with that win to finish off their season. They sit now at 8th overall. Mm-hmm. You're thinking they go somewhere in a defensive state of mind here?
They have to, I think. Because their offensive line is good. Their offense is good. And it all depends, again, on Bryce Young. If Bryce Young could replicate from the time that he got benched to that first start after he got benched to the end of the season, they could be a sneaky good team. Good enough to win that division, that's for sure. That's probably the worst division in football.
Yeah, no, I mean, they just showed at the end of the season that they were starting to click.
Yeah.
Okay, well, right now, I guess their option could be they got a few options defensively here, Robert, that they can go with at the 8th overall. So I think they're going to get somebody pretty solid here
Is anybody
There's a
from
lot of
Alabama?
edges.
Is there anybody from Alabama in there?
I don't see that. Right now they have Abdul Carter out of Penn State edge projected to go to them at 8th overall.
Who's
Then there's
a really good edge that came out of Penn State? Could you name off the top of your noggin?
I can't. There's no
Micah
chance.
Parsons.
Oh, yeah, I would have never in my life guessed that. Well, I mean, hey, right there. Looking for a cornerback. Will Johnson out of Michigan is projected to go right before him. So maybe if he's there, who knows? We'll obviously get more into that as the
We'll really
comes
dive
in.
into these top 10 teams here.
But Robbie, why don't we keep these games rolling on here?
10-4.
Let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys Commanders here, Robbie. Commanders getting the job done to finish off the season, commanding the Cowboys around here. And I think we need to talk about how much of a piece of shit Jerry Jones is, Robbie.
What a fucking scumbag,
I mean,
geriatric fuck.
For those of you guys who don't know what we're talking about here, Jerry Jones hasn't started Trey Lance since he's become a Cowboy. Just has not done it, wouldn't do it. And why am I drawing a blank on the guy they've been playing all year, Robbie? Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush had an incentive for an extra, I believe it was like $500. Yeah, $500,000 to play in 55% of the team snaps. And all he had to do was start this last game, play a few snaps, and he would have got that incentive. And instead of doing that, Jerry Jones, in a meaningless game, decides to sit him for Trey Lance for no apparent reason whatsoever. And obviously the Cowboys end up losing because, I mean, not only are they a shit team, but they have fucking Trey Lance as their quarterback in this game, who's not going to win shit. But it just kind of goes to show what a scumbag Mr. Jerry Jones is.
Literally, it's fucking $500,000 for a fucking billionaire. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I don't know, with the situation with quarterbacks, I mean, maybe someone pays a decent amount of money for Cooper Rush. Okay, Dad, take it easy. Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, I definitely would not be throwing Cooper Rush in as a starting caliber quarterback, in my opinion, Robbie. But if you want to, I mean, if you're a team with the Dolphins or something like that, where you have a quarterback that's going down with injuries quite often, might not be a bad guy to bring in because he's clearly shown he can win games as a backup quarterback.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have tried. They've brought in Mike White. They brought in Snoop Huntley, Tyler Huntley. They've brought in Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, they've tried. I just think that we'll get into the Dolphins in a little bit. We'll get into the Dolphins. I'm going to jump over base there. But Zachary, the head coaching position is, as right now, open because Mike McCarthy did coach in the final year of his contract. Do the Cowboys bring him back or do they move on?
I think they're gonna end up bringing him back because you know what? I think they're gonna bring him back, and I think they probably should bring him back, Robbie. I mean, the guy has had success, or obviously not so much in the playoffs, but he's kind of. I mean, this season you kind of have to write as a bit of a write-off for them. Mm-hmm. Like their entire defense was injured for the first half of the season. Mm-hmm. Dak Prescott, the second half of the season, was just checked out, had to go get surgery. Now CeeDee Lamb last couple weeks he's out. I mean, to me, you can't put this blame on the coach. Maybe in prior seasons you could. Mm-hmm. There is a fair amount of coaches out there, but it's also like at this point now, if you're going to fucking fire him, you better goddamn do it quickly because you now have, I think, 5 teams looking for head coaches, Robbie, and that head coach market is very slim.
Yeah. And the thing, too, Zach, is when you look at the roster the Cowboys have and you look at the remaining teams like the Bears, the Patriots, it's going to be hard to really pull in a good coach because of the age difference in the roster. And like you alluded to, they've had a lot of success in the past couple of years with Mike McCarthy. Believe it or not, Mike McCarthy is actually a good coach. Does he make some bad decisions late in the games? Sure, but a lot of coaches do. And at the end of the day, you have 2 or 3 more years of Dak Prescott. You think Ben Johnson's going to come in for 2-3 years of Dak Prescott? Do you think that Pete Carroll's going to want to, maybe Pete Carroll because he's old as fuck. You think Mike Vrabel's going to come in for 2 to 3 years of Dak? No. So you stick with what, now the only thing that they should have done differently was defensive coordinator because Mike Zimmer was fucking terrible as a defensive coordinator. And this is before Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs got hurt. He was fucking terrible. He should be fired immediately. That was not the replacement for Dan Quinn.
Yeah, it was ball sack vagina.
They got to find a better defensive coordinator. The running game was very iffy all the way till past midway through the season, until Rico Dowdle really showed what he could produce. So maybe they do have a running back that they had Zeke, they had Dalvin Cook, they tried everything. The offensive line, it's probably Zach Martin's last year. That's going to be a big loss. He's been a Cowboy for, I believe, over 10 seasons now. That's going to be a big loss. Mike McCarthy, at the end of the day, gives the Cowboys the best chance of getting to the playoffs. Does he give them the best chance to win the Super Bowl? No, because you still got the Lions, you still got the Eagles, and depending on how the Vikings handle the Sam Darnold situation, the Vikings, the Packers, the Cowboys aren't going to be at the level, because it's crazy enough to say I don't think Dak's better than all four of those quarterbacks of those teams, including Sam Darnold. But if they move on from Mike McCarthy, they might they might get to the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to go any further. The Cowboys locker room is a big fan of Mike McCarthy. Micah Parsons is going to the final year of his rookie contract next season. So if you've already moved on from Dan Quinn, which he's pissed about. If you move on from Mike McCarthy, who he loves too, you might just want to trade off Micah Parsons, because I don't know what kind of effort that guy's going to give you.
Yeah, and I don't think he'll be re-signing with you anyways.
I think there's a high possibility he does go to Washington. I said that earlier this year too. I think there's a good chance he might go to Washington.
And what, be under Dan Quinn's coaching staff?
Yep.
Ooh, the roles have been reversed.
Yep. But the Cowboys end up losing this game, and we are going to wait to see what happens. And as Dad says in here, Chicago has put in a request to speak to Mike McCarthy, but the Cowboys have ignored the request and still haven't granted access or denied. And this goes to as far as yesterday to today.
Damn. Well, we'll have to keep our eye on that one, folks. Robbie, next game here on the list. Chicago Bears heading into Lambeau Field in Green Bay. And Robbie, the Bears have done it. They take down the Green Bay Packers for the first time in what seems like decades in Lambeau Field. And Robbie, I don't know if this is going to make Green Bay Packers fans a little worried or not, but they now have the exact same divisional record as the Chicago Bears do in that division. Both teams finish off with a 1-5 record against divisional teams in that division.
The Vikings and the Lions, but fuck both of them.
Yes.
I mean, the Bears should have beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. We all know this.
So the Packers, and I mean the Packers, and also if you think about it,
they battled. They almost beat the Vikings in Minnesota.
So, but also they had a blocked punt or a blocked kick to beat the Bears the first time they played them, if I remember correctly. Correct. They could easily be 0-6 in this division right now, Robbie.
They could.
Not to mention, sorry, Brian, that I'm trashing your team here, but unfortunately it has to be said. Jordan Love gets injured. Watson gets injured in that game. Uh-oh.
No, Pack, no. No, Pack, no. Frigid temperatures, 2 injuries. Now, Jordan Love was seen warming up on the sideline. But I think the right decision was made by, listen, we understand it's the last drive. We'll take Philly. We'll take Minnesota either way, or Detroit, whatever's going to be. Like, we know we're up against. You got to protect that hand. And it was the decision to call. This win for the Bears for me does absolutely nothing. I'm still going to count their losing streak because they're facing a lot of bench players of the Green Bay Packers. So this win does nothing for me. It does nothing.
It's a moral victory, Robbie, for our fans from Chicago.
All right.
They needed this.
All right, Big Cat. I'm sure Big
Cat needed this.
I'm sure he's pissed that they won.
Yeah, well, that's probably one of those ones just like, fuck. Like, he obviously wants to kill the Packers every time he plays them, but at that point, it's like the last game of the fucking season. It's for a draft pick. Excuse me. But, Robbie, Bears beat the B-team Packers. Shall I continue giving her?
It depends what you're giving her.
On the next score there, brother.
Oh,
Robbie also forgot to mention when we were talking about the Washington Commanders, Terry McLaurin set the Washington record with 13 receiving touchdowns. So congratulations, Mister.
What is going on? I'm hitting the wrong.
Robbie is just bugging.
I meant to do this whole time.
There we go.
Completely missed the button to go back under the Kansas City.
Folks, that's why if you guys are listening to this,
it's the Maple Leafs goal horn.
If you guys are listening to this and you want to be our free producer for the next year, until we become a profitable podcast, then we can start paying you.
Yeah.
But for now, we can pay you in laughs. Hit up one of us in our Instagram, bar, Twitter. Hit up the Sports Cave. Just get into contact with us, and we'll figure something out.
We'll do.
But Robbie, the scores continue here in a game that means absolutely ballsack vagina, or what should have meant something or nothing, but turned out to actually mean something for the Tennessee Titans. They host the Houston Texans to end off their season. Tennessee Titans puts up a dud. They lose 23-14 to the Texans at home.
Yep.
But Robbie, with that loss and your New England Patriots win, they solidify the first overall pick going into this year's draft. Now, before you say that, Robbie, because I feel like I'm just going to loop all this into one here. While I'm mentioning that, yes, the New England Patriots get the job done against the Buffalo Bills. B team at home with Joe Milton III as the quarterback, not Drake May, who is slinging that rock there, Robert. New England Patriots 23, Buffalo Bills 16. Robbie, Patriots also fired Gerard Mayo after. What's going on in your head here? The floor is yours. Okay. Obviously, very happy with Gerard Mayo, but Robbie, with that win, you guys go from first overall to fourth overall. Still a very nice pick.
Yeah.
Still a very nice pick.
Yeah.
But obviously a lot less sexy than the first overall pick, Robbie. What are your thoughts here?
It is what it is. I mean, either way, if you got the first pick, you were going to get multiple draft picks. But I mean, whatever. I'm not happy that we won, but I'm not angry. I expected us to pick around this area anyways. Titans, really quick. I discussed with a coworker. I think the best thing for the Titans to do is use that number one pick as a bidding war, because I think it's clear that the Raiders want Shedeur Sanders. You should trade off that pick, go through another year of torment with Will Levis, and either next year's draft class or 2 years from now draft the quarterback that you think. Because I don't think Shedeur or Cam Moore fit what Tennessee has. I think you just got to stick with Will Levis and hope that Zachary.
Yep.
I'm sorry. That's not the one. My favorites.
Oh.
My favorites. Please hold.
Breaking news.
Breaking news coming out of Major League Baseball. The San Francisco Giants are in agreement on a 1-year contract with 42-year-old Justin Verlander on a 1-year contract. He will pitch his 20th season in the Bay of San Francisco.
It's an old bastard right there, I tell you.
He's an old bastard, but he's banging some good old pie.
She's got a big fat set of titties. Yeah.
Indeed, she does. But that is the breaking news. Back into football. We'll get into that later, if we remember. Yeah, the Titans, I think, should just put it as a bidding war between the Giants, the Raiders. I mean, think about it. I mean, if you get the Giants pick, then you're only going back 2 spots. I think that would be the right thing to do, because they don't need they do, but they don't need the quarterback. I don't think Shedeur or Cam Ward fits what Tennessee has, where I think that Shedeur fits what the Raiders have, and I think Cam Ward kind of fits more with the Giants more so than the Browns.
Yeah, I agree.
Quarterbacks. I don't think they're going to amount to nothing in the NFL, unfortunately. All right, the Patriots. Zach, I think you remember how pissed off I was when the Patriots hired Gerard Mayo.
You're very upset.
Because you fired Bill Belichick to just bring in someone that's a part of the system, and there's no one that's ever succeeded Bill Belichick's system, not even Vrabel, because Vrabel has done his own thing.
Still listening? I'm still listening.
Finding Mike Vrabel in the baddest of ways, and this is your second opportunity to bring him back in. However, Robert Kraft, he needs to just step away, because the second that Tom Brady left, Robert Kraft has been the one in charge, including while Belichick was there. Robert Kraft has been in charge of everything with the roster. It was Belichick up until Brady left, and you could see what happened. Mac Jones is out of there. I believe it was the first year after Brady left, the Patriots had the highest cap space in the NFL, and they spent on Matthew Judon, who actually panned out to be well, Jonnu Smith, ass, Jalen Mills, ass, Kendrick Bourne, injuries and not really anything special, and Hunter Henry, decent, but nothing that has stood out to this date.
Yeah.
Okay. Let the GM do their job. Let them bring in the head coach, which will probably end up being Vrabel. Let them draft. Let them use that cap space to bring in whoever the hell they're going to bring in. It's time for Robert Kraft to step the fuck away and stick back to being what he was before, a cheerleader and an owner. That's it. As it pertains to Jerod Mayo, do I think he was failed? Absolutely, I think he was failed. He was never the answer for the job. When they won the game against Cincinnati, I'm not going to lie, Zach, a lot of Patriots Nation got their hopes up because they looked well prepared. And then as I continue to watch the games, they were so undisciplined, and especially in the most crucial part of the football field, offensively, in the red zone. Holding. 10-yard penalty after 10-yard penalty after 10-yard penalty. It's kind of hard to execute when you have the ball inside of the 10, let's say at the 7-yard line. Next thing you know, there's a holding call. It's at the 17. Rookie quarterback or professional quarterback, it's kind of hard to execute a touchdown there. And that lies in the head coach for no discipline. So out the door he goes. I doubt he's going to get any sort of major coaching role, head coach.
No.
And you know what? This is on Robert Kraft. So now we'll see what happens. They are conducting interviews with coordinators, names I haven't heard of. They're supposed to, I believe they complete an interview with Mike Vrabel. They've requested for Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And I think the Patriots job is very appealing at the end of the day because what we saw to Drake Mays.
I have some betting odds here, Robert.
I love it. Let's hear it.
Okay, so this is via Sportscasting, Betting Tips and News. So I don't know how legit this is, Robbie. But they're saying odds for the next Patriots head coach at a minus 300. So basically, they're saying this guy's a guarantee.
Vrabel?
Mike Vrabel.
Let's go. Buffalo income legendary Super Bowl run as we go through the Red Hot Broncos, then Lamar, then Mahomes wins Super Bowl 59. Well, Kaz, I love your hopes and expectations, but we will see, my friend, and welcome, Zachary.
Welcome. Nice name, too, pal. And then, Robbie, Ben Johnson will be your second favorite guy. Third name on the list, a little one maybe surprising here. Bobby Slowick.
Who?
Yeah, that's a name I never heard of before. And then they have
fucking way.
And then they have Josh McDaniels as a plus 1,000 and Brian Flores as a plus 1,200.
For love of God, it needs to be Mike Vrabel or else I'm going to fucking...
Yeah, who the fuck is Bobby Slowick?
I don't fucking know.
All right, he's getting Googled right now. Bobby Slowick, American football head coach who was the offensive coordinator of the Houston Texans.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
He previously served as an assistant coach for the Commanders and the 49ers.
Oh, God.
So Bobby Slowick also getting interviewed for the position. But from what everyone's saying here, Robbie, it looks like Mike Vrabel is definitely the favorite.
And I'm okay with it. I don't think they're going to get Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson's landing, Zach, all along has been with Chicago.
It sounds like that would, but I mean, Robbie, there's now like you're looking at teams. The Patriots need a coach. Jets are going to need a coach. Jaguars need a coach. The Bears need a coach. The Raiders need a coach. I mean, there's a lot of, and there's not that many.
Need a coach.
There's not that many great names out there, you know.
Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, those are the two best out there. I mean, Pete Carroll's out there too, but he's up there in age. And
he's up
nowadays,
there in age.
I mean, did you see that teams are going to be calling the Minnesota Vikings about trading for Kevin O'Connell? Yeah, dude.
A fucking coaching trade.
That'd be interesting. I can't tell. I don't know when's the last time that happened in the NFL.
Has that ever happened?
I know in the NBA it has.
Damn.
I know in the NBA Doc Rivers got traded to the Clippers.
You tell me, Robbie, if you think I made a bad bet with my buddy Joe at the bar on the weekend. Saturday night, we're watching the football games at the local football games, the Leaf game at the local Chuck's Roadhouse here. I don't know if you guys have those in the States, right? Chuck's
Roadhouse. No.
Okay, well, it's a cheap, like, you can go there. They have $4 beers on Leaf nights. So we always go there during the Leaf games. It's a nice cheap spot to just get plastered and have some, I wouldn't say good food, but eat some edible food. And then my buddy we were talking about who the coach of the year this year was going to be. And I was like, dude, it's Kevin O'Connell. Like, it has to be Kevin O'Connell. And my buddy was like, you are the dumbest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. It's clearly Dan Campbell. And I said, normally, I disagree with you. I'm like, Campbell does technically deserve to be the coach of the year, but Kevin O'Connell just did shit that no one thought was going to happen this year. Everyone thought the fucking Lions were going to be good this year. So I made a $50 bet with him at straight odds. Winner take all, Robert. So I think I'm probably going to win $50 with my buddy Joe.
Let me see what the Vikings win projections were before the season started.
Yes.
Vikings win projections 2024. Okay, what do you think it was? What do you think their win projections were?
4.
4. You would be wrong. As of June 6th, 7.5 wins over under.
Okay.
They were plus 8,000 to win the Super Bowl. Kevin O'Connell should be the coach of the year.
Yes.
14 fucking wins with Sam Darnold as your quarterback.
Yes. I think he's very, very heavily favored on majority of betting websites to win the.
I'll let you know. I'll go do on
Coach of the year.
FanDuel Sportsbook. But Zachary, at the end of the day, I think the Patriots have. This is the best opportunity for the Patriots to really take that next step because we don't know what's going to happen with the Jets. The Dolphins are falling down in shambles. This is their opportunity to be the number 2 team in the AFC East and really try to somehow, some way, contend with the Buffalo Bills for the years to come with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Do
Rob,
you
what
hear
do you say?
Do you hear the wind in my microphone by any chance?
No.
Oh my God, it's fucking windy as fuck outside. So Zachary, the odds right now, Josh Allen's a minus 470 for MVP. Patrick Surtain is a minus 550 for Defensive Player of the Year. Joe Burrow is a minus 250 for Comeback Player of the Year. I think that should go to Sam Darnold over Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin O'Connell is a minus 750.
Yeah.
Followed by Dan Campbell at a plus 410, followed by Sean Payton a plus 3,000, Dan Quinn a plus 5,000.
So I think it's going to be going to our boy O'Connell, but really, Robbie, you never know. But
and let me tell you something, the Comeback Player of the Year, Burrow, Darnold, J.K. Dobbins in that order. Makes sense.
Yeah. However, Robbie, we actually have a fair amount of games still per over here, so I'm just going to start going through some of these.
I'm sorry, I got to do one more thing. I'm sorry. Saquon's a plus 7,500. Jared Goff's a plus 15,000. Joe Burrow's a plus 30,000 for MVP. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of.
That's retarded.
There it is. There it is.
Yep, it was warranted.
Okay. Well, Robert, let's get through some of these games here. In a game, again, that means absolutely nothing. The Colts end their season off with a win, 26-23 over the Jaguars. Joe Flacco starting quarterback in that game. I mean, who really gives a shit, Robbie? You got anything you want to say about that one, Robert, or shall I continue?
You shall. And it was noted that Michael Pittman said he played season with a broken back. I guess he was playing broken back. Richardson can't play with the broken back.
Yeah, my back is broken, spinal. Robbie, the Philadelphia Eagles
Spinal.
get the job done against the New York Giants. Unfortunately, Eagles choosing to sit everybody, including Saquon Barkley. So we will see no new rushing record this year. Honestly, a smart decision in there. You had to make that decision. If you start Saquon, you got to start the whole offensive line. There's a lot of different implications if you do end up starting him for that 107 yards. If he was, say, 50 yards away, I mean, I think that's a no-brainer. I think you throw him in there for the first quarter, whatever, and you just feed him the rock. But 107 yards is not even – I mean, I guess it is against the Giants. He's been doing it against every other team. But it's not exactly the easiest of feats just to get out there and march 107 fucking yards on an NFL defense. So,
and everyone's got to shut the fuck up trying to compare what the NFL did to the NBA because the NBA do this on a weekly basis. It's literally one fucking week where they sit all their starters. Yeah. It's one fucking week. And then you got complaining about Josh Allen taking a snap and not playing the rest of the game because Eli never did that. Well, that's because Eli was always damn close to playoff contention. Josh Allen and the Bills ran away with playoff contention. I'm sure if Eli was in the same boat, they would have sat him too. Take the snap, keep the streak alive. Because that's the way the game is, folks. All right? Like, let's fucking calm down with the hatred towards Josh Allen and Saquon for not playing. Because then if they get hurt, then you're going to turn around and say, oh, the coaches are fucking idiots. So at the end of the day, they can't win because those people that put that shit out there are the same crybaby fucks that cry about everything every single day, about missing like one fluid ounce of their coffee every morning, or they got a banana that wasn't ripe to perfection. Like, shut the fuck up and stick the banana up your ass.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's something else right there. Robert should also be pointed out here. Malik Neighbors. It took him 1 year. He now has a new New York Giants reception record with 108 receptions throughout this season. Also worth noting, there will be no changes to the front office and coaching staff of the New York Giants here. Robbie, the GM and coach are sticking around. So what are we thinking about that? I mean,
we were just talking about 5-10 minutes ago, and we have an answer. The Dallas Cowboys have declined permission for the Chicago Bears to interview Mike McCarthy. So it sounds like, Zachary, looks like Mike McCarthy, there's a good chance the Cowboys are going to do whatever they can to keep him.
Sounds like he might be sticking around. Unless he just wants to go, hey, Jerry, fuck you. Which I think would be fucking awesome if he just tells Jerry Jones to suck his cock and then he just goes off and finds a new job somewhere else.
Nah, he's going to stay, dude. He's going to stay.
I think he's probably going to stay as well.
Back to Malik Neighbors. I mean, you know what's really impressive about that is that his quarterbacks were Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, Drew Lock, and Tim Boyle. That's impressive as fuck.
Four pretty fucking, you've already said it, so I want to say it now. 4 pretty retarded quarterbacks, if you ask me, Robbie. They were most retarded being Daniel Jones, who is now going to be competing for a Super Bowl as the Minnesota Vikings backup. So don't forget about that one, folks. He is on the Vikings squad.
Yeah. So, I mean, next year, the Giants, whatever they decide to do at quarterback, we'll see. I mean, obviously, they're going to go in the draft, but I don't anticipate Drew Lock being the starting quarterback going into next season. Let's talk about the front office and the head coach. To me, Brian Dable's name should never been in the bag in terms of being fired. Brian Dable is a coach of the year for the reason they overexceeded expectations in his first year, and that was primarily because of Saquon. His second year, he loses Saquon for a significant period of time and Daniel Jones, and he made Tommy DeVito look like a comparable quarterback that I said is better than Daniel Jones, and he very well might be. This year, I mean, yeah, they hit good on Tyrone Tracy and Malik Neighbors, but you let go of your best offensive player in Saquon, you let go of your best defensive player in Xavier McKinney, and they struggled in the secondary. They struggled on offense. The second Andrew Thomas got hurt, it did nothing. All these offensive linemen that they brought in to help Andrew Thomas were ass, and that all goes on the front office. That goes on Joe Schoen. I'll tell you what, Zach. If Brian Dable was to get fired, his name should have been taken off the board immediately and hired as a head coach. I think Brian Dable's a very good coach. I do. You can only do so much when you have chicken shit. You can't turn everything into chicken salad.
Oh, that you are right, sir. Yeah, I don't think it was his fault whatsoever what happened with his team this year, and the fact that he's had to coach now a legitimate, just a horrific quarterback. They do hold third overall pick, so I guess really depending on what the Browns do, or the Titans do, there's probably going to be either a Shedeur Sanders or a Cam Ward available there. So there is a chance. Maybe that's the route they go, but we'll just have to wait and see, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Here is the owner. This is John Mara on his lack of patience.
John, you talk about playing quarterback positions. You had the number 1 pick 2 weeks ago.
I believe it.
And then you win the Colts game. And then it seemed like
wait a second before we continue. What happened?
Yeah, that guy looks like he got shit on.
Oh my fucking god!
Somebody used that guy's fucking eyeballs as legitimate toilet paper, Robbie. Continue.
And then you win the Colts game. And then it seemed like
get
you
him
were
off.
all out yesterday. But why not have just tanked if you knew they were coming back?
If I had thought that we were tanking either one of those games, I would have fired everybody. We are never going to do that in this organization as long as I'm standing on this side of the grass.
All right. Well, I guess that wasn't the video I was looking for, but you could hear right there, right now. And you know what, Zach? The right thing to do is tank. But these players and the coaching staff, the ownership, that's not what it's about to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we have to understand that as fans. Like, that's why I'm not fucking throwing a fit here about the Patriots winning over the Bills. That's not what these players sign up to do. They don't sign up to lose. And honestly, Zach, if I was in the same situation, I have a winning mentality too. I'm not going to fucking lose intentionally. Now, this is the clip I wanted to play for you. Here's the clip of John Mara saying he's running out of patience.
How long will it take to improve the product, John?
It better not take too long, Bruce, because I've just about run out of patience.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Zachary. What do they mean by improvement? They just won 4 fucking games.
Can't get
so
much
if
worse.
they don't make the playoffs, does that mean that Schoen and Dable are fired? You're not making the playoffs when you had the NFC East. Jalen Hurts, Saquon next year again, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Washington, Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, the combination of Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler worked to fucking a point this year. And they're going to add more next offseason. The Cowboys, if they stay healthy, Dak, Rico Dowdle, Jake Ferguson, CeeDee Lamb, the Giants, Malik Neighbors. That's all you got for offense. Don't even get me started in the defense.
Yeah, it's not a very good situation. You're not going to
contend for the playoffs next year. And then you have the NFC North, which is fucking loaded. There's no chance that the Giants contend for the playoffs next year. So what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Well, I mean, it's again, like, he can't just come out and say that, you know? He's trying to send a message to the team, and obviously it's Robbie, he knows it's going to be a rough year for him.
But Zach, the question is, how long will it take for the Giants to improve? It better not take long because I've just run out of patience. What is that timetable?
Well, I don't know, Robbie. I don't have the answer for you. I mean, I don't
think he has the answer either. This is the same stupid fuck that the reason for bringing back Saquon was because of merchandise reasons, not for winning. So who the fuck does he see to talk about winning?
This guy don't know shit.
He really doesn't.
All right, Robert. Let's keep on ripping these puppies off here. Next game here, Tampa Bay Buccaneers win, and they win the division, and boom, bam, bizzle, they get the job done. 27 for the Buccaneers, 19 for the Saints on the road, and Mike Evans does it again in the final seconds of this game, Robbie. He gets the yardage to tie Jerry Rice for the only two players in NFL history with 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And for all you cuck losers on your Twitter account, well, it was the 17th game. The motherfucker only played in like 13 games this year. He would have easily gotten that if he stayed healthy. So,
yeah,
fuck off. Get that shit out of here. We're looking at a future first ballot Hall of Famer any goddamn way you look at it. And one of the most underappreciated, just dog wide receivers of this last decade.
And just because you brought that up, how he played 14 games this year, he's accomplished that feat playing 15 games, playing 13 games, and 15 games, and 15 games, and 15 games. And one of those 15 games in 2015, he didn't even start.
There you go. The guy has never needed a full season to get 1,000 yards. So, I mean, well, at least not for the last little bit anyways. But, I mean, regardless, we're talking about just an incredible athlete. And with those injuries happening earlier on the season, I think there's a lot of people, Robbie, that did not think he was going to reach this 1,000-yard mark. But you never count out the dog.
There's one point in his career where it was literally 1,001 receiving yards.
Nice.
And it was the right thing by the Bucs to do. It was absolutely the right thing. And not for nothing, the Saints necessarily didn't really give it to him.
No, they were still trying to D it up a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm. They weren't trying to, they knew what was happening. They weren't trying to press up on it, but, they knew what was happening.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. You know, we talked about at the trade deadline how it's not going to happen. Well, Zachary, it's going to happen this weekend. Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore, baby.
Thank God. We get to see that reunion. Well, that's if fucking Lattimore plays.
I think Lattimore's going to end up playing.
Well, Robbie, why don't we continue?
And you know what? Before we do continue, though, dude, I mean, the Bucs almost fucking fucked that all up.
Not a very good start for him whatsoever. Horrible first half.
Terrible. And kudos to the Saints. Spencer Rattler and company fought.
Yep. Well, Robbie, speaking of teams that fucked everything up, the Kansas City Chiefs, I think we knew the little plan they had in store here. We knew the plan they had in store here for this game, Robbie. Let's put out our worst possible team that we can possibly assemble, and let's go out and lose 38-0 to the Denver Broncos. Thus eliminating the Cincinnati Bengals and their late season surge. I mean, Bo Nix looked fantastic, Robbie. Obviously, take that with a grain of salt, but
XFL team.
Yeah, that's why I said take it with a grain of salt, but he still looked great. Carson Wentz, however, eesh, geesh, capiche, capiche. This guy sucks more cock than Prime Lisa Ann in football.
Oh, wow.
It is, I mean, not really much to say. The Broncos just absolutely beat the shit out of them and are in the playoffs for the first time in almost 10 years, Robbie.
Last time they were in the playoffs, what happened, Zachary?
Is that when Peyton Manning took him to the promised land?
That was the last time they were in the playoffs, baby. A no on Mike McCarthy, but no permission needed for Pete Carroll. Bears plan to interview former Seahawks coach Pete Carroll for the vacant job Thursday. Sources tell me and Jerry Fowler. Okay, that's breaking news. All right. I think that's a good fit as well if Ben Johnson doesn't go there. With the Chiefs, I'm kind of fascinated in a way that they really didn't try, because they would be the first team since the 2007-2008 New England Patriots to win 16 games in one season.
Yeah, you think that I think at this point, Robbie, the only thing that they have their fucking heart set on doing is doing something that the Patriots were never able to do.
To back.
And that's win 3 straight Super Bowls.
You know, I've never had anything against Kansas City, and a lot of people hate Patrick Mahomes. I don't hate Patrick Mahomes. I don't necessarily hate Kansas City. But the Patriot fan of me does not want to see them fucking.
No, obviously not. And I mean, that was even like, and we're going to get into it in a little bit when we talk about hockey. But that was even like me. Like, I have no problem with the Americans and you lovely people of the United States.
Wait, so does this mean that the winner of the Chargers-Texans game, essentially, unless a lower seed takes down the Ravens and the Bills, are going to face the Chiefs?
Yes, the Chiefs have a cakewalk, Robbie.
So my fucking head is going to shit!
They have an absolute cakewalk. Robbie, speaking, you just mentioned the Chargers. Why don't we get into that game as well, too? Because, I mean, they handle business against the Raiders. I thought I had something to do with the Chargers with some sort of a record, but no, I guess I do not.
Well, Quentin Johnson had a record day.
That was not what I had in there, but let's see here. Quentin Johnson. Wow, 13 receptions, 186 yards. Holy tit, ball sack, vagina. That is a absolute day and a half. 34 for the Chargers, 20 for the Raiders. Obviously, a game the Raiders want to lose because that gives them a better draft pick there. They're already eliminated. The Chargers are already in. Whipty fucking do.
Shout
Let's
out
go
to
Chargers.
Kobe Myers for over 1,000 receiving yards.
Shout out, Mr. Jacoby Myers.
That Bill Belichick elected to pay the same contract Jacoby Myers had for Juju Smith-Schuster.
Damn.
The pain in my heart.
Robbie, Seattle Seahawks 30, the Rams B team 25. Rams already clinching a spot here. The Seahawks already eliminated, so might as well go with a bang. Jimmy Garoppolo getting the start for the Rams.
Good,
he looked great, Robbie. 334, 2 touchdowns, 27 completions for 41 attempts.
Listen, Jimmy G is actually
impressive.
Jimmy G isn't the worst quarterback. Is he someone that's going to lead you to the promised land? I mean, he almost did it with San Francisco. Very close. And I've been on the record of saying that if it was him over Brock Purdy in that second attempt, I think the Niners win. Honestly, dude, if you're a Raiders, he's all right, the Raiders, so get that out of there.
Yeah.
Fuck it. The Giants, the Browns, why not?
I mean, why don't we just add him to the Browns and just complete our quarterback carousel? I feel like that's what we do now. I've heard now, give me Jimmy G. I've heard Kirk Cousins. I mean, but I might as well start the rumor here. Tom Brady's going to come out of retirement, and he's going to come join the Cleveland Browns, Robert. I mean, we don't need no Jimmy G, okay? You know what we need to do again, Robbie? We need to be the worst team again in the league next year. And just fuck you, Bob, and just gain draft capital here, Robert. And then maybe I want to see a man with a last name Manning put my Cleveland Browns jersey on for the next foreseeable future.
Okay. You think so?
That's what I want to see.
Well, you're not going to.
Well, you never know.
Seattle has fired their offensive coordinator after his first season. Tyler Lockett might have played his last game, so that core from the Legion of Boom, I think the last player remaining was Tyler Lockett. That will all go to the end.
Damn. Well, if it is the end, Robbie, I said end of a. Oh my gosh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's Tuesday.
End of a very dominant era.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday, and I had a fucking howitzer of a day yesterday, and even another howitzer of a day today. But Robbie, I'm a little bit pissed off because I haven't seen this guy's name in our chat yet today, and you think after what his team did yesterday, he would be coming in guns a blazing. Aaron Rodgers in
He's
what
had a
very well
Jim.
could be his last game, not only as a New York Jet, Robbie, but maybe his last game ever in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting old.
Did you watch Enigma yet?
I have not. Would you call him?
I don't think I called you anything. I watched that documentary.
Is it fucking absolutely ridiculous? Because it looks like some real hippy dippy bullshit, to be honest.
How about
with
that thing I sent you where they go into the tent there? I mean, a lot of people have already watched it, and you'll watch it.
you. Yeah.
They all go into the tent there, and they have like it's all like smoked up or whatever. And they say they store their ancestors in rocks. They say, "Welcome, grandmother." They put the rock in. Everyone inside the tent goes, "Welcome, grandmother."
Oh my God. Well, Robbie, the man clearly channeled his ayahuasca demons in that final game of the season, throwing for 274 yards with 4 touchdowns in a vintage Aaron Rodgers performance in a victory, 32 for the Jets, 20 for the Dolphins.
Here's the final post-game interview. Would you like to hear? Because, I mean, it is the great Aaron Rodgers.
Throw it on there.
The last time we could possibly hear Aaron Rodgers on the football field, here he is with Pam Oliver.
Aaron, it was really nice to watch. You were out there. You had fun. You had joy. Just tell us what this meant to you tonight.
It didn't start off the right way. It was special. You know, anytime you get to get on the field, do something you've been loving since you were a kid, it's special. So thankful for the ability to be healthy out here. I'm thankful for the guys that come to work with every single day. They make it a lot of fun. Disappointing season for sure, but it's a fun way to end the night.
We all know what time it is, so give us a sense of your process. What will you do in the coming days and coming months before you decide what it is you want to do for your next path?
I'm going to get home and relax. I'm going to clear out my head and get healthy from the bumps and bruises from the season. And just, I got a lot of gratitude right now. I'm going to enjoy this tonight, but once I get back out west, I'm going to, take my time, and I'm not going to hold anybody up. I'm going to have conversations tomorrow with everybody here with the Jets and see what they're thinking, and then make a decision before it gets too late in the offseason.
Whatever you do, all the best.
I love you, Pam.
Love you back.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a wholesome way to end it right there. It's kind of my first time you don't want to punch Aaron Rodgers square in that big old schnoz of his.
I think it's over.
I think he's probably done too, Robbie. I mean, I can't see this.
The Jets don't want to bring him back.
I was just going to say, I can't see the Jets. After this train wreck of a season here, man, I cannot see them wanting to bring him back. The only thing is, though, is maybe it's like a recency bias now, and they just see what happened in that last game, and they're like, oh, you know what? We're not done playing with our shiny new toy yet. Even though your toy is a 1942 tanker truck, that is it's just not the toy to play with anymore. You know, Robbie, it's out of style. Another thing to point out, too, Robbie, what's going on in Dolphinville here? Because Mr. Tyreek Hill seems like he is all but done with the Miami Dolphins.
Allegedly, because I guess from what I saw today is that they worked everything out. But I'll see if I can find the Tyreek Hill.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. You think that was his emotions getting the best of him after a tough way to end the season? I think that's probably more so the case right there. And also, I mean, the man didn't do himself any favors. He was kind of horrific the last little bit this season. So,
well, you know what? In Tyreek Hill's defense, they didn't utilize Tyreek Hill. The Dolphins' offense was surrounded by Devon Achane. And, I mean, as great as Achane is, Tyreek Hill's making $30 million for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dolphins didn't utilize it correctly. And not for nothing either. I mean, when Tua's out, they stink. And when Tua's in, they're good against bad teams, but not against teams with an above 500 record.
No, you're right. You are right.
I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can find the video there with Tyreek Hill. But before we... okay. Here's a 30-second clip. I don't know if this is a... Oh, man. Tyreek Hill was listed number 1 for the NFL this year for the top 100 players. He was listed
Indeed,
number
he
1.
was.
Wow. All right, here's Tyreek Hill.
This is my first time I haven't been in the playoffs, man. So, I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here or that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. So it was great playing here, but
I mean, you thinking about leaving here?
if it is, hey,
Yeah, emotions probably did get the best of him because apparently they cleared everything up. But I mean, I think Miami should really consider
moving on from him. The guy seems like a fucking cancer, to be honest with you.
I disagree with that. I think that
you're seeing shit like that. I mean, that's not a good look at all.
They didn't utilize him, and they couldn't when Tua got hurt. And is this going to be in everything with Tyreek Hill? He followed it up. He goes, Snoop did a good job, but when we don't have QB1, we're not functioning correctly. And he's right. It's a Mike McDaniels problem. Mike McDaniels has a system that can only fit in place for Tua. It doesn't fit for Huntley, doesn't fit for Teddy Bridgewater, doesn't fit in for Mike White. Nothing fits in for Tim Boyle. I'm not going to add him to the equation. That's the problem, Zach. And I think he's better off going somewhere else because as far as I'm concerned, the Dolphins, whenever I alluded to it fucking 20 minutes ago, this is the Patriots' chance to pass both the Jets and the Dolphins and try to compete with the Bills for the years to come.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Jets really quick, Zachary. Offensively, I don't think they were the best, but their defense is what cost them these games. And they were a top 5, top 10 defense in most statistical categories when they had Robert Saw as the head coach. And the second he got fired, they were a bottom feeding defense. Sauce Gardner was not impactful. The William brothers or whatever they are, I don't know if they're brothers or not, they weren't impactful. CJ Mosley wasn't impactful. DJ Reed wasn't impactful.
Nope.
So when they bring in this next head coach, and I'm telling you right here, right now, I'm not saying this out of bias. I'm not saying this because it's an easy name to say. It has to go to Rex Ryan. It has to go to Rex Ryan.
I mean, I think his name has been getting thrown around so much now that it like,
and it's because he works for ESPN and you hear the name a lot, but Rex Ryan makes sense. Ben Johnson doesn't make sense. Who else were they talking about? Vrabel doesn't make sense. Pete Carroll doesn't make sense. No one makes sense for the job outside of Rex Ryan. And the reason why I also know the Jets want to move on is because we know that Rex Ryan has a very good relationship with the owner, Woody Johnson, and he's been bashing Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers is on the way out.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think you're right about Mr. Rex Ryan, but we'll have to wait and see because, the Jets, sometimes they make very questionable decisions. Robert.
Yeah, and they'll hire like a fucking coordinator from the Panthers or something.
Well, we got 2 more games to go over here, Robbie. This next one we can kind of purr through a little quickly. Cardinals giving the 49ers a bit of a smack job to finish out the season. Both these teams eliminated from playoff contention. But the Cardinals 47-49. The alopecia nightmare, Joshua Dobbs, with a great game for the 49ers, Robbie. 326 yards throwing, 2 touchdowns. But it was not enough to solidify the victory as the Cardinals end their season on a high note with a 4-touchdown performance from their little cutie quarterback, Kyler Murray.
Why you call him cute?
Because he's a little fella. He's a little cute fella,
It's pretty gay.
Want to pick him up and put him in your back pocket. Well, I'll tell you what wasn't gay, Robbie. What wasn't gay was this Detroit Lions team on Sunday Night Football.
Told you.
Just taking their big bolstering dicks out and face fucking the Minnesota Vikings in the least gay way
they
possible.
were fucking their skull.
Yeah, they were fucking the skull out of these. They were skull fucking the Minnesota Vikings here, folks. I mean, Robbie, they made me my own worst because I thought with the defensive liabilities going on in Detroit, Minnesota looking very good. I thought for sure, I'm like, the Vikings will have no problem in this game. And boy, they had a lot of problems. And the Lions made them look like a B-class team, 31-9, solidifying first place now. All the playoff matches are set. We're going to do a full playoff preview on Thursday's episode here, folks, for you. So we'll get into all the matchups come Thursday's episode. But Robbie, massive win, and now the Lions get themselves a extra week of rest.
Well needed, and with that extra week of rest, it looks like they are going to have Dave Montgomery back in time.
Well, so I mean that is absolutely massive.
Yeah,
because
in that whole line, he's that power back. Jahmyr Gibbs, he could be, but Jahmyr Gibbs is more of a shifty running back.
Yeah.
Montgomery's going to take those hits. We didn't allude to earlier when we talked about the Chargers. Ezekiel Elliott has signed with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yes, I forgot to say that. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's going to see a snap, if we're going to be honest, but I guess you never know.
Yep, you're right. We will never know. We're going to find out.
But Robbie, besides the that last game, I believe that is all the news we had for football and all the scores. So what do you have any final thoughts here that the Week 18 and the NFL season is officially done for the year?
I told you it was going to come and go really quick, and it did.
Man, it's like having sex with me over in a flash.
Your top 5 worst fantasy football players this season, go.
Top 5 worst. Okay, well, like, are we talking worst? Like they were projected to be fantastic players
Yes.
and just did not.
Yes.
Okay, well, you got to put Sam Laporta in that
That's
discussion.
number 1. That's number 1.
Top 5. Who are some other guys that were? Oh, okay, Anthony Richardson was a projected high pick.
It wasn't that high.
I mean, he was the fucking QB4. I'm pretty sure in majority of mock drafts.
I mean, dude, you're missing out on the biggest one. Number 1 pick in every fucking league, essentially.
Oh yes, Christian McCaffrey. I couldn't even think of one because he played fucking 2 games all year.
Exactly. McCaffrey. Now, McCaffrey probably won Laporta's too. AR you can put up there. I argue CJ Stroud over AR.
CJ Stroud you can put up there too, but I'm just saying if you go back and look at like mock drafts, I don't know how one of your league, but I'm pretty sure that Anthony Richardson was projected as a QB4, QB5 going into fucking fantasy football this season.
I think Stroud was higher than him in most of my leagues. Travis Etienne's another one.
Yeah, that could be another guy.
Debo
I mean, I
Samuel.
guess. Yeah, I guess really. I mean, he had a horrible. I don't know. There's a few guys like Tyreek Hill didn't have a 1,700-yard season like he had the other year, but he still had an okay season.
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall, another rough
Kyle
one.
Pitts again. The Kyle Pitts, it's over.
It's just I think he had just a regular Kyle Pitts season.
Yeah.
This is just what we should get used to seeing.
Christian Kirk.
Well, now we're getting into the toughies.
Stephon Diggs. Torn ACL. It sucks, but that's what happens.
Yeah, you can't really call him a fantasy bust if he's fucking, you know what I mean? Like I think bust more is the guys that played. Bob's saying we got Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr.
I don't know if I throw Marvin Harrison Jr. in that equation. I know the hype was so big, but when you look at the numbers right there with his dad, they're very similar.
He's a fucking rookie. I mean, exactly.
Hold on. No. You need to flame my father. You need to flame him. He cost himself his own fantasy football season. You want to hear what this retarded trade was?
Oh, there we go.
Hey, TJ! Would you like to come roast Dad? Sounds like he's busy playing rec. Okay. Dad made the most retarded trade in fantasy football history, I'd argue.
Well, what is it here?
What's the backup running back name for Seattle? Charbonnet?
Yeah.
He acquired Charbonnet, but he traded away Malik Neighbors. You did not make money because you fucking came in 7th in my league. You came in like 6th or 7th. You didn't make no money. Travis, who you made the trade with, made the money and beat me by 2.
Bob, that is inexcusable, Bob. You are better than that, Bob.
I was very disappointed. And TJ tried telling him it was a terrible trade, and he hung up on TJ. How do you hang up on Aquarius?
Yeah, you can't hang up on Aquarius Jackson. But, Robert, I also should point out, we got an hour 15 so far in on football, and we got a fair amount to talk about in some other sports here. So what do you say we, Caitlyn Jenner, transition over to another sport?
USA!
Yeah, I had a pretty good feeling that Canada's chances were completely done when Plouffe told me that that Freebird was your guys' goal song going into this. I was like, oh, fuck. I'm like, how the hell are you ever going to beat a team with that?
You ain't.
But let's just get into it here, Robbie. As a Canadian, you know that this World Junior Tournament means a lot to me.
Thank you.
It's usually something that Canada just does well in, but wow, these last 2 years have been rough. Not so much for you guys, though, Robbie. The first time in U.S.'s history, you guys have won back-to-back champions at the World Juniors Hockey Championship. So congratulations, sir. Congratulations to America. I was listening to Spittin' Chickens today, Robbie, and they were talking about this draft class or age group, I guess I should say, from this U.S. age group here. I think it's the 06s to 07s or something like that, which is crazy to even say that's how young these kids are. 2006, 2007, they were fucking born.
We're getting old, bro. We're getting old.
But Robbie, apparently these kids have just dominated literally everything for the last 2 years. Like this age group is for the Americans is just absolutely exceptional, and obviously it shows. I mean, that's now back-to-back world champions or world junior championships. Your captain Ryan Leonard, I believe he was on the world championship roster. I mean, that kid's a fucking bona fide player. The Hudson, the defenseman guy, it seemed like that guy had the puck on his stick for the entire fucking tournament. He's incredible. Yzerman, number 34 on their team, was a hell of a hockey player. Tough start for you guys against Finland, Robbie, if we're going to be honest here.
But that third period was all theirs. That third period was all
not
theirs.
Not even just a third. The first period was pretty much. You can even ask Plouffe this one because I don't know how much you're watching the first. The first period was all Finland, and I was at home just going, "Ooh, Finland already beat them once in the tournament. Maybe they got their number here." And then it was like with probably about 10 minutes left in the second period, it was that the U.S. just went, "What are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here?" And then I'm pretty sure Finland, from the second half of the game going into overtime, registered about 2 more shots on net. I mean, their goalie, if Finland would have ended up winning that game in overtime, Robbie, I think every single person in Finland that cares about hockey would have to either A, suck that kid's dick who was playing goalie for them, or buy him a blowjob from a professional dick sucker. Because that guy was making saves, like incredible saves, left, right, and center to keep his team in that game, especially in 3-on-3 overtime. Some of the saves he made in overtime, I was like, this is insane. Fuck off, Ryan, you bastard. But in the end, Robbie, you guys get the job done. The guy that got your game-winning goal, this is actually some stories I kind of like. I really like to hear about. Robbie, that was his first shot on goal all tournament. He's a kid who was getting. He was like a 13th forward type guy for the States. I can't remember the motherfucker's name, but he was getting like 0 ice time per game. Maybe throw him out there and like if it's like a 10-2 game against fucking Switzerland or something, you throw the kid out there. But he fucking gets out there in overtime. I guess he has the freshest legs. They're thinking, you know what, might as well give this kid a chance. First ever shot on goal in this tournament is the game-winning gold medal goal for the World Juniors in overtime. Roll the clip here, Robert. Number 2. Keep your eye on him.
You will have no commercial break. Here's a flip ahead. Here comes a chance for Stegen. He's in. He scores! Denny Stegen! His first goal of the tournament, and it comes at a perfect time.
And you hear Freebird in the background there too, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very, very good final game here, Robert, especially for your Americans. Very good tournament in general. Do you got anything you want to say, Robbie, about your Americans before I go into a bit of a Hockey Canada rant here? Now, this is definitely going to get us sued.
Well, this is what I got to say, Zachary. It doesn't matter if it's basketball, baseball, football, hockey, swimming, volleyball,
fucking go.
track and field. It doesn't matter what the sport is, unless
Dick sucking.
Unless it's not soccer, we will prevail. It doesn't matter whose game it is. It will always be the United States of America, and to the republic for which we stand, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I can't say anything about the World Juniors, Robbie, because you guys have now had us back-to-back years, but we'll see you.
This point forward as either champs or daddy.
No, maybe we'll have this discussion if you guys win the Olympics and the Four Nations Cup against the real best for best. Because another thing I should also point out, Robbie.
What?
Macklin Celebrini, Canadian playing in the NHL, was eligible to play in this Team Canada World Junior team, but he's too good. He's in the NHL. Connor Bedard, eligible to play in this Team Canada World Junior team, too good, playing in the NHL.
I
The
have something
top
to add.
end talent,
I have something to add when you're done. Something to add
the
when you're
top end talent
Mhm.
is still very much there in Canada. And if I would say, I think out of the top end talent, Canada has the best top end talent. However, the gap is there really is no gap anymore. Team USA and Team Canada, in my opinion, are, especially if we're talking the best for best. I'm not talking about World Juniors, because World Juniors, clearly you guys have us in World Juniors right now. Best for best, I think we are right there level par with each other. And then I think there's literally about this much of a space. And then you have nations like now with David Pastrnak and shit with Czech Republic. They could be now a top. Like, there are so many good fucking hockey nations now where I am so excited. Not even so much for this Four Nations Cup, because this Four Nations Cup's kind of bullshit in my opinion, because you're missing out on a lot of really good teams. Like when this Olympic comes in, we're going to see a Russian team in. Like the Olympics next season, Robbie, next year is going to be the creme de la creme for fucking for hockey lovers.
Now, you know what the problem is with your team? And you and your father alluded to this. Granted, it's just the juniors, but who knows? Maybe it carries into the Olympics. Very selfish. You guys are
very
Not
selfish.
oriented.
I can tell you one thing right now, Robbie. That World Juniors team, Four Nations and Olympics team, we're not seeing anything like what we just saw there.
You better hope not.
The fact that, well, I know for sure we're not going to, because we're going to have guys like Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid, not Easton Cowan and fucking Gavin McKenna. And Gavin McKenna is a player that was on the Team Canada team I thought was actually a very good hockey player. Our coach, Dave Cameron, never played him. The coaching was ridiculous here in this tournament for Team Canada, Robbie. Some of the worst coaching decisions I've ever seen in my entire life. One decision I can think of just right at the top of my head. In the semi or the quarterfinal games, semifinal, we didn't make the semifinals. In the quarterfinal game against Czechia, we're losing, I believe it's 3-1 or 3-2. I think it's 3-2 at this time, and we get a goal to tie the game up, Robbie. However, I can even tell just from watching it before they go to replay, I'm like, this is not going to be a goal. Our guy cleanly rammed right through their goalie. The ref calls it a no goal on the ice immediately right away. What does our coach do? He challenges it. As we have all the momentum in the world, we are controlling this game. We're going to tie it up at some point. Our coach challenges it. Clearly, it's not a goal. We lose the challenge. We lose we get a penalty on the play now because we lose the challenge, and all the momentum sucked right out of the building. We did end up tying the game later on, and then we take another really stupid penalty, which is another thing that Canada was doing all fucking playoffs or all World Juniors long. Was just people were saying the refereeing was bad, which yes, some of the calls were a little rough. Canada was also just being fucking just absolute goon retards out there in this tournament. Like, they're just some of the plays these guys were doing. I'm like, what are you fucking doing? You know what the refs are like in this tournament. You can't play like that. Now, back-to-back tournaments. I mean, 2 firsts for us, Robbie. Back-to-back for the first time for you guys ever winning it. First time Team Canada's lost in the fucking quarterfinals back-to-back in the World Juniors. So I think an overhaul is needed. The selection committee did a retarded job, too. You missed out on 3 of the top 4 CHL scores. For some reason, they're trying to build a specific team instead of inviting the best players available, which I really hope next year they realize that ain't going to fucking work. Invite the best guys that are available and figure it out then. It's worked before. It'll work again. I'm not saying we would have won, because I do think that you're in the United States, this age group for the last couple of years for you guys has been that dominant. I still think regardless if we put our best team forward, you guys probably still would have prevailed in this tournament. But I can guarantee we would have fucking smoked Czechia. We wouldn't have lost to fucking Latvia in this tournament, Robbie, if we put our best team forward. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, you didn't. You lost.
Yes,
And
I'm aware.
if the games were closer, because next year they're going to be in Minnesota. If they were closer, I would consider going. They should honestly do New York one year, because they could do both UBS. They could do UBS. They could do Nassau, MSG, Barclays. They have options in New York.
No, you are right about that, Robbie.
Or
but
Boston.
I will. I'm gonna quickly go through this NHL. Let's sorry. Let me actually. You were finishing off. What you want to say about your? You had anything else you want to say about the World Juniors?
No, I really didn't get a chance to really watch it because the cable providers, we don't have them. So I found, I'll just say I found an illegal stream and I watched the 3rd period. I stayed up for the overtime and I woke up tired as fuck on Monday, but also energized because we are golden champions.
That's what happens there, Robert. Okay,
But I'll
real
say,
quickly.
one thing I will say, the third period, a lot of times when they had the puck, the second that Finland crossed our blue line, there were a lot of times where it looked like they had a 2-1. All they got to do was pass it over for the one-timer. And Finland didn't do that. They just put it right on net, and our goalie, give him credit, made a lot of tremendous saves. There was one goal that missed by that much from hitting the post, though. One.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great gold medal game, though. You always got to love a golden goal opportunity.
Now, you and for me because I said it was over, but what I tell you, boys, expect the worst and hope for the best. That's my motto.
Yeah, that's just terrible.
And the worst happened when Yankees lost the World Series. And the worst happened when Yankees lost the World Series.
Robbie, our boy, Austin Matthews, makes his return from injury, popping a goal in his first game back. However, it did come at a cost for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are now the official division leader of the Atlantic Division. Let's go, Leafs.
Yes.
Go. They will be without hard-hitting defenseman Jake McCabe, though, for an extended period of time, I have to assume. He's had some concussion problems in the past. He got into a fight with Zach McEwen of the Philadelphia Flyers, and as they were going down, McEwen basically landed with his body weight on McCabe's head, kind of driving it into the ice. The guy couldn't even get up, Robbie. He was flopping all over the place after. So it was a tough scene to see, but we'll have an update on him on Thursday. But in good news for Leafs fans, Austin Powers makes his return.
Thank God for my fantasy hockey team.
I have my other league as well. Another man, Robbie, that they're saying is looking to make his return to hockey. This one's a little bit more questionable, though. We're talking about three-time Stanley Cup winning champion, two-time Olympic gold winning champion, a Conn Smythe winner, Jonathan Toews, ex-Chicago Blackhawks captain, wants to make his return to professional hockey, Robbie.
Which you said, I think last year, 2 years ago, when it was that you anticipate would happen.
I thought for sure he'd come back, and surprising, Robbie, what he named a couple teams he would really like to go to and that he's been having some discussions with. Toronto Maple Leafs,
of course,
one of those teams that he was discussing with Robbie. I would not mind bringing him in for a veterans minimum here. You got championship pedigree there. I'm sure there's a few teams that would like to bring him in.
He's relatively close to the Ryan O'Reilly acquiring 2 seasons ago.
It would be, but Ryan O'Reilly, I'm assuming we would get a way shittier version of O'Reilly. Like, I mean, the guy hasn't played hockey now in 2.5 years, whatever it is, Jonathan Toews. So who knows how he's even going to look out there. I more so just want to bring him in just to. The guy's won multiple championships. I mean, bring him in just to fucking mold these guys.
Marner how to not be a pussy in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously Marner's playing fantastic right now, but
as he always does.
We know what happens here.
Yep.
So keep your eye on that. I mean, there's some rumors. I think he's been talking to the Colorado Avalanche for another team. I saw that he was having some discussion.
Either way, he's going to go to a contending team.
Exactly. So let's make it be the Leafs. Robbie, the New York Rangers going in a bit of turmoil here. Some news broke out today that they actually offered the Vancouver Canucks a 1-for-1 trade. Mika Zibanejad for JT Miller. A bunch of rumors also circulating in Vancouver that JT Miller and Elias Pettersson hate each other. No one even knows if it's true or not, but it's been going on for so long now, but there has to be some sort of truth to it. So maybe the Rangers are looking like, hey, we could probably poach this guy pretty easily for a pretty cheap price, I would have to assume, because they have some turmoil going on in Vancouver. We'll help that situation. We'll send them a guy who's been slacking off for our team for the last little bit. Maybe a change of scenery is what he needs, and a change of scenery is what JT Miller needs. However, the Vancouver Canucks say you guys are out of your goddamn minds. In my opinion, JT Miller is such a better hockey player than Mika Zibanejad. Even when Zibanejad was playing at his top play, I mean, Zibanejad maybe had the offensive game over JT Miller, but JT Miller as an all-around player is just a stud. You cannot make that trade if you're Vancouver, and obviously they say no, Robert. But it is crazy to think that the Rangers are making splashes of this caliber. So for what we know, I mean, no one really knows if this is actually true or not, but it's what you're seeing on the internet.
Canucks.
And last but not least, Robbie, a surprising surge of the Montreal Canadiens, 8-2 in their last 10 games, have moved them into the last wild card spot of the playoffs. So we'll keep it short and sweet, Robbie. Keep your eye on the Canadians, and if the Leafs keep going the way that they're going, we might be able to see a Toronto Maple Leafs versus Montreal Canadiens first round playoff match.
Not again. No.
No, I would like it again.
Okay, we're gonna move on before you go crazy.
Yeah. Robbie, that's it for the NHL news. We got some time. I think let's get into some NBA here, Robert. Roll the bit.
It's the NBA on the Sports Cave.
Boom. Well, Robbie, let's start this one off hot. Jimmy Butler suspended 7 games by the Miami Heat, not by the NBA, but by his own team. Suspended 7 games for his post-game press conference, and Miami now has immediately made him available for trade. Robbie, this leads me into my question here.
Yep.
What did he say at this post-game press conference?
Oh, you didn't hear?
I did not hear, no.
Let me see if I like to hear. He wasn't very happy, Zachary, obviously. The whole thing that happened ever since Pat Riley told him to shut his mouth, they've made it aware that they have no intentions on offering him any sort of extension. And you know what's crazy to me, Zach? There's a lot of people out there in the media that sincerely hate on Jimmy Butler because people like me who know what Jimmy Butler has done to carry dog shit rosters, because it's literally a dog shit roster. 2 of them to the NBA Finals. And people are out there saying he's not even that good. Really? Because LeBron James has run. I gotta try to find the video. This is Joy. Jimmy Butler Joy. Hopefully it doesn't show Joy Taylor.
I was gonna say, well, let's not bring up Joy Taylor and Drip Bayless.
Well, Skip Bayless apparently wasn't banging her. It was
Well, you're trying to offer the hair lady $1.5 million to fuck. I'll fuck you for $1.5 million, Skip.
What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball, and wherever that may be, we'll find out here pretty soon. But I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court, but I want to be back to somewhat dominant. I want to hoop, and I want to help this team win. Right now, I'm not doing that.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
Well, I mean, I think that's pretty much as set of stone as you can make it believe there, right there, Robert. He is as good as gone. Now, I mean, is this like a situation where we could be coming back to our Thursday episode and he's on a new team, or is this something that's going to have to?
I think Brian Windhorst thinks that Sun is going to get done this week, so it could happen literally as we get off. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen Thursday, Friday.
Come on, save it live for the show Thursday.
One
awesome.
thing is absolutely sure: trade deadline. By then, he's 100% gone. That is guaranteed. Damn. Zachary, what do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously he's going to want to go to a contender. I've already thrown out. Excuse me. I've thrown out the Warriors out there. I don't know what. I don't even know if we're going to really call them a contender anymore, the way they've been sliding. Maybe he's a third option for a Dallas Mavericks team, Robbie. When you get Luka back and Kyrie back, does he want to be a third option? I'm not really too sure exactly where this is going to go here. I think the only team I'm going to rule them out 100% on because they have 0 picks left is the New York Knicks. That's the one team I'm going to say. Maybe he goes and is the final deciding piece for an OKC Thunder championship run. But then again, he'd be the what? At best, third option for that team.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm really not too sure. Where do you think he's going to end up here?
Phoenix.
The Suns, huh?
The Suns. It makes sense for him to go to Phoenix with everything that's going on there.
And like, what would a package like to get a Jimmy
Bradley
Butler?
Beal. Bradley Beal will be gone.
Yeah.
I don't know if Nurkic is going to get involved, but Bradley Beal definitely will be gone.
God damn.
I don't know what kind of. I mean, the Nets have some of their picks too. So I mean, who knows? Maybe it's a straight up Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler. I don't know, but
No,
I
that
don't
can't be a
think
trade.
Miami's going to trade him within the Eastern Conference because it's not the way Pat Riley does business. I think we have a better chance of seeing him go to the West. One thing's for certain though, dude, he's out, and Miami Heat fans can't hate on Jimmy Butler, in my opinion. This is a problem internally, and it starts with Pat Riley.
Oh, 1 million%. 1 million%. I think that was very apparent after what Pat Riley said last year when he just shut his mouth, Robbie.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Robbie, you we just mentioned this team here, so might as well just bring these guys in here. The Suns have now moved Bradley Beal and Yusuf Nurkic to the bench. You're talking about maybe them bringing in Jimmy Butler. Is it maybe time now for Kevin Durant? If they don't make a move like that, is it time for Kevin Durant to say enough is enough? I'm not getting any younger. I want to go compete.
Yeah.
Get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Now, is that with or without a Jimmy Butler trade? Like, what if they bring in Mr. Jimmy Butler? Is that change his mindset here? Or is it?
I don't know, because you know what, Jimmy Butler is very edgy. Jimmy Butler is very straight up. He's gangster, to put it like perfectly.
He's that man.
He is that man. I mean, this guy literally carried the Heat twice to the NBA Finals. And honestly, the second time when they lost to the Nuggets, if he had not gotten hurt, there's probably a good chance that they actually win the NBA championship, if we're going to be completely honest. Kevin Durant, if this all does transpire at the end of the day, I think Kevin Durant should get the fuck out of there. And the team that stands out to me is just going back to where you won it all the first time. Curry and Durant and Golden State.
I mean, obviously, it definitely worked before, Robbie. When you said going back, I was like, is this man about to say returning to the original stomping grounds?
OKC? I don't think OKC wants him back.
That'd be a pretty cool little story, though, huh?
Yeah, but I don't think OKC wants him back.
And then we could always still make the fun of it. We could also have the fun joke that Kevin Durant can only, buy his rings, essentially.
He was a big toe and an ankle away. Giannis, you dirty piece of shit.
But Robbie, I guess we'll just wait and see what happens there. But there is a few more things to go over here in some NBA. Tough news for the Orlando Magic, Robbie. Yet another injury for him. Jalen Suggs now has a lower back strain. While it is day-to-day, then they might get Suggs and Banchero back at nearly the same time. Banchero has returned to competition reconditioning, Robbie. So yet another injury to start off for him right now, but it's not going to be someone that's going to be detrimental to their future, and it is looking like brighter skies are in the future for this Orlando Magic team.
I mean, potentially, because for whatever reason, they have caught the worst fucking injury bug, and who knows as to why. And they're lucky because Jalen Suggs was literally wheelchaired off the court. So, it's just like, here we fucking go again. And their best player at that point was going to be fucking Cole Anthony. But Banchero, there's a good chance he might actually return this week, which is big for Orlando. Give him credit, dude. I believe they're still top 5 in the standings. I believe.
The Magic. Let me let me pull my score app up here.
Well, too late because I already got it, and they are the 4th. They're 4th. They got 2 games up on Milwaukee.
Staying afloat.
We can skip the one note that I put in there of the piece of shit that we both hate on the show because there's absolutely no video.
Okay.
And there should be because what he did is fucking bullshit.
I'm just going to say it out loud. PSA, Joel Embiid is a big fat pussy queer.
Pussy ass bitch fucking.
Bat. Hey, Plouffe. How are you, big guy? Okay, well, Robbie, last thing in this lovely NBA news here. Mr. Zion Williamson, speaking of fatties, Mr. Zion.
Joel Embiid foot is out for the game. Maybe it's because you kicked D'Angelo Russell in the shin for no reason, you fucking bitch.
There you go. That was what we alluded to before.
Fat fucking fuck. I hope you break your foot and it gets fucking amputated and then you can't play in the NBA anymore.
Okay. Robbie. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Zion Williamson is making his return for the New England Pelicans here tonight here, Robert. Finally, they're getting some guys back. Still very injured, but they're getting some guys back. Robbie, are you feeling okay?
It should have been Joel Embiid that had all these injuries and not Zion Williamson.
Well, you made that pretty apparent.
Fuck Joel Embiid, dude. God, I hope Zach, God forbid the day ever comes the Nets trade for Joel Embiid, I'm not a Nets fan anymore. I'm not. I refuse.
You won't cheer for him ever again.
No. If Joel Embiid goes to Brooklyn, I'm done. Fuck the NBA. I'll be done. I'm so dead ass. Fucking hate that guy with a passion. I hate him more than I hate Russell Westbrook. And I hate Russell Westbrook because of Steve.
Russell!
Okay. Zion coming back. I'll tell you what, Zachary. He should play his absolute dominant best game of basketball and get the fuck out of New Orleans.
Yeah, get out of New Orleans.
Get the fuck out of New Orleans, dude, because he's done nothing for this franchise ever since he got drafted there. Nothing. And there's a picture of him. He actually looks like he's in very good shape. He's not fat. He actually looks like he's in very good shape.
For now.
But at the end of the day, the best thing to happen is for him to play very good basketball and them trade him. Will they? Probably not, because they still hold on to some sort of hope. But they really, really got to move on, dude. They have to.
Yeah. Well, Robbie, speaking of moving
Butler
on.
is not interested in playing for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, I did see that today. Speaking of moving on, Robbie, it is getting a little late. We have a little bit of MLB left to do. You want to purr through this quickly?
I reckon we can.
All right.
Zachary, I believe we are 7 weeks away or 6 weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting. We're getting there.
Goddamn. Well, when football ends, another one begins, baby.
Beautiful thing.
Robbie, let's start off here with the first thing on the list here. Mr. Charlie Morton signing a 1-year deal with the Baltimore Orioles here, Robert.
Baltimore loses on Corbin Burns, and they elect to bring in Charlie Morton. What a mistake, huh?
Well, I mean, it's definitely, you just went from like you basically just went from having like Rihanna to Queen Latifah, you know?
Yeah. Dude, it's Baltimore is really going to have to hit the snot out of the ball because they have literally zero pitching. I mean, they're going to have a good setup and closer with Felix Bautista and Yennier. I think it's Yennier Cano. I could be wrong on that. But their starting rotation is going to be so fucking bad, dude. Really, really bad. And the other thing they got going for them is they moved the wall from the Atlantic Ocean to close to at least the sand of the Atlantic Ocean beach over there in Baltimore. The wall will be moving in a good amount, I believe. So that's nice.
Very nice.
Charlie Morton's fucking 42 years old, dude. He is 42 years old, I believe.
Surprised they're bringing in, we're getting some veteran presence in the dugout here, Robert.
No, I think that was just their last option of a fucking somewhat close of an ace pitcher. Charlie Morton last year at the age of 40, so he's going to be 41, excuse me. Settle down, Robbie. He's going to be 41, not 42. Oh, yeah, shit! He's out of Connecticut. But you're a part of a cheating team, so I don't give a fuck. Go fuck yourself, you cheating fuck.
That was quite the reaction right there.
Let's see. Last year he went 8-10 with 165 innings pitched, 167 strikeouts, so a strikeout per innings pitched. Where's his ERA? A 4.19. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, you guys brought in a fossil. Let's wait and see what happens here in Baltimore.
Yeah, a two-time All-Star in his last year. He was in his first year in Tampa. Other than that, kind of mid.
Well, Robbie,
23 win-loss record.
We do have a trade to report here in the MLB, and that is the
wait. Oh, okay. I thought you were reading the other one. My sincere.
No, not yet.
Continue on, sir.
The Los Angeles Dodgers are trading former top prospect and two-time World Series champion Gavin Lux to the Cincinnati Reds for outfielder Mike Sorita and a competitive balance round pick worth around $2.5 million. We're not really sure here at the Sportscape what the fuck that second half of that sentence means. However, Former top prospect and two-time World Series champion Gavin Lux shipped off to Cincinnati. Robert, who the fuck is Gavin Lux?
Well, Gavin Lux had some high potential coming out of the Dodgers farm system. In 2022, he played the most games, second most games, 129. I believe that's when he tore his ACL. He didn't play all of 2023 because of the injury. 2022, he had a 276 average with a 346 on base and a 399 slug for a 745 OPS, which is around league average. I mean, in the end of the day, the Reds are hoping maybe they could further develop his skill set. They need a second baseman because they traded away Jonathan India to the Kansas City Royals. And you know what? The Dodgers really, I don't know if Chris Taylor or Kike Hernandez goes to second base, whatever happens there, but it wasn't working out over there in LA. They want him to be the shortstop. He wasn't doing well, so they had to put Mookie at shortstop. Mookie hasn't played shortstop in his entire MLB career, but Mookie Betts is so good, he basically play anywhere the fuck he wants to. Yeah. Gavin Lux, he's going to get a second opportunity in Cincinnati, and it's going to be way less pressure because there's not any high expectations for the Reds going into next season.
Well, let's hope he prevails, Robbie. And I think what you were trying to stop me from saying before was why I started with this one is this has not been a trade posted yet, Robbie, but there has been some discussions of a trade of two familiar teams.
Toby, calm down, Toby.
Yeah, he's going fucking buck wild. Yankees and the Padres had yet another trade talk, Robbie. Last time it was for Mr. Juan Soto, a guy who helped you guys almost win a World Series this last season. This time it is for multiple-time batting champ Luis Arraez. Is this something you want to see the Yankees take care of here, Robert?
Yes and no. Yes, because he could hit the fucking. He is the best pure contact hitter in baseball. No, because he doesn't get on base outside of his hits. His fielding is terrible and his base running is terrible. So you're basically getting in the Gleyber Torres, who can hit the baseball pretty good, but can't field, can't run, and doesn't walk at all. So, I mean, you got to bank on him getting a base hit. So yes and no. I don't know what the package is going to end up looking like. He does have a very affordable contract where he's getting $9 million per year. To say that, well, he's a left-hand hitter, he'll take advantage of the short porch. I mean, that's not what you're getting out of Luis Arraez. You're getting a guy that hits a shit ton of fucking singles.
Yeah.
Let me get his numbers. Please hold, Zachary, before we get off. Okay, Luis Arraez, who, by the way, also cost Aaron Judge a Triple Crown that year because he sat out the last 3 or 4 games with the Twins so that he can retain the batting title, which if Judge had the batting title, he would have won the Triple Crown. So fuck him for that.
Speaking of Triple Crowns, congratulations to Ja'Marr Chase.
Yes, congratulations to Ja'Marr Chase is in order. Last year, he had 200 hits, 4 home runs, 3 triples, and 32 doubles. So when you do the math there, Zachary, that's 39 extra base hits. The rest were all fucking singles, dude.
I mean, but that's exactly what everyone knows you're going to get with this guy. But the guy is a leadoff mercenary. He just gets out there and he fucking hits leadoff singles.
Yeah, and he doesn't strike out, but at the same time, too, I mean, WAR is a big number they love to use in baseball. His WAR was a 1. A win above placement was 1.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
Down from 4.9 and 4.2 2 years ago, 2 years ago and 3 years ago.
Well, like we said, Robbie, it has not happened yet, so we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe we'll have more of this on Thursday's episode. However, what has happened now, Robbie, and it is the last thing to report on our news today, the no longer Oakland Athletics, we'll just call them the Athletics. The Athletics have signed Brent Rooker to a 5-year extension worth $60 million. With this extension, he's the only Athletics on the roster, barring any trade, that could be part of the 2028 Las Vegas Athletics team. Obviously, that will continue to grow, Robbie, but he is, I guess, the first, cement piece, if you're going to call it that here.
Potentially, yeah.
So I'm not really too sure what to expect here for the Athletics, but I hope it works out for them.
Well, they're definitely going to spend money now because they're out of Oakland, which is kind of fucked. But Brent Rooker, I think he took the money because he went through 3 teams prior to being very good over in Oakland before he heads over there to Sacramento and then Vegas. So I think he just wanted to take the money and run while he could. So you
Might as
can't.
well.
12 million is a lot of money, and with the potential endorsements, I mean, he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Is there any? I don't think there's anything else for baseball outside of me scrolling through Twitter, and Twitter is filled with what, Zachary?
A bunch of piss.
A lot of fucking porn on Twitter. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, there's tits and cocks and vaginas and hairy pussies, and there's just all over the place.
What happened? I'm not even.
There's
like,
even,
I'm not even following any fucking porn sites or anything. It's fucking insane.
in this day and age, too, sometimes you'll see a set of tits and you'll be like, nice. You'll keep scrolling and she'll have a cock. It's what's going on in this day and age. I mean, $15 million for Mr. Verlander, Robbie. Before we head out, $15 million for the 1-year deal.
Wow, that's a good amount of chicken for him.
Now that's actually, I don't know why I just said that because that was Bob reporting it. So take that with a grain of salt.
No, it's accurate. I see it right here, $50 million.
Okay, there we go.
It's accurate. But all right, Zachary. Well, that's a great episode. We're going to be back here in 2 days, folks. We'll be back here on Thursday. Until then, we're both fucking tired. We both got to get up early in the morning. So, Zachary, take us on out. Thanks for listening.
Folks, thank you very much, and we will see you guys on Thursday. And stay sexy, Sports Cave.